been asked to moderate the panel. So this is about Comic-Con and the way that the geek media from adult has crossed over into the mainstream Comic-Con. So San Diego Comic-Con actually is a 4-day event, and it started actually in 1970, and in the last 10 years it's gone massive. It's got an attendance of over 130,000, and that's got media coverage worldwide. So geek and porn, they've virtually got the same target audience. So over the last few years there's been a big crossover in the marketing. So the people on today's panel, we have been able to capitalise on the geek market with our products and our brand. So I'll just introduce myself. I'm Tanya Kate, as we know. I'm an adult performer and I'm also a cosplayer. I've been in the adult industry since 2008, and I maintain a cosplay blog. I'm a director, I'm a performer, and I'm also a publicist. And I'll pass it on.
I'm Nikki Hunter, and I was in the industry, I got in the industry in 2003, so I've been around for a little while. I love the geek world. It's actually something that I grew up with, and less of something that I really wanted to bank on and market, but more of like an internal heart desire. Like, I love the Comic-Con conventions. I've been to New York, I've been to San Diego, I've been to the WonderCon, the Bridge, just like all of them, the people are fantastic. And it's just a whole different community. So there's like the porn community that I've always been a part of for over a decade. And then my whole geek world, so that's why I'm here today, is to just really go into how much that we love these characters.
I'm Annie Cruz. I started in the business in 2003 as well.
Yeah,
same generation. And I'm a huge comic book nerd. I have such a huge collection in my bedroom. It's like a 12-year-old boy's room. With my I obviously love Batman. It's my favorite. But yeah, I've been going to Comic-Cons all over. You mentioned WonderCon. I remember when WonderCon was in San Francisco.
Yeah, me too.
When I lived up there, it was perfect, but now that it's in Anaheim, and yeah, I'm actually working on a comic project right now in which the main character is using my likeness for the characters. I'm actually really proud of this project. It's one thing that I'm promoting while I'm out here, and I'm looking forward to hoping that it pushes forward.
I'm Ella Darling. I've been in the industry for about 5 years. I got in 2009, but I've been a nerd since I was basically born. My first Star Trek convention, I think I was still in a stroller. I really like LeakyCon, which is a really big Harry Potter convention. That was like my social circle of the Harry Potter network for a while before I go to Comic-Con, I go to E3, I go to Comic-Con, I go to LeakyCon, I go to GeekyCon. If it's got Harry Potter involved, I'm fucking there. I used to be a librarian, which is why I possibly is Ron recording, because she also is a librarian. Yeah, I have had sex with all of the performers on this panel. So, bingo!
Hi, I'm April O'Neil. I started in 2008. Just a nerd like these guys, I guess. And kind of got lucky in being able to integrate porn into all my likes and stuff like that, and being able to I've gotten to do some really cool parodies, and it was just basically living out fan fiction. And I go to all the cons too, E3, Comic-Con, all of them. I try to go to a new con every year in someplace different, so that's why I'm my Comic-Con fairy godmother.
That means it's my turn?
Yeah.
So my name's Wendy Crawford. I'm the owner of Adult Source Media. I've been in the adult business since 1998, so I'm older than everybody else. Been attending Comic-Con for 8 years now, so it's great to be able to take what you love to do and make a living.
Okay, so the very first time that I was going to San Diego Comic-Con, I'd been to San Diego in 2009, and I saw all these people dressed up as superheroes walking around. I was like, oh my god, what is that? There's like all like oh, everywhere with all these people, so I get so excited, and then I found out it was San Diego Comic Con. This is what happens. So the next year, 2010, I actually got myself a which is like a boob tube, and white boob tube, white skirt, and I got out of the car and walking, through the Gaslamp district in San Diego, and it was really surreal that every few steps someone was like, can I take a picture, can I take a picture? And they were taking my photo with my clothes on. I was like, well. And when I done the convention, I was an absolute blast just going around and, seeing all the different booths, seeing all the different people, loads of people dressed up. And I went back and I posted some pictures online, and the fans really liked it, and I decided to start a blog, so I started Just Alana Tanya, and that is grown from there. I started it as a safe for work, so it's completely family friendly. So if I go to a comic convention, I can give out flyers that has Just Alana Tanya on it, and I know if a kid picks it up, they're not going to go and find it. There's no links whatsoever. But on there, it's kind of grew where I'll go out and I'll do reviews of different things. Like I have a lot of collectibles, a lot of figures that I like to collect, and I go to different conventions and to do little videos. I have a YouTube channel where I put my videos on YouTube. It's brought for me different opportunities. I've actually been on a panel, some of the at San Diego Comic Con as well. So for me, it's brought a lot of a different kind of fan base. Where I've got geeks. We're all geeks. But we've got the young boys, and sometimes they'll take a picture of me and they're like, oh, it's cute. And it's like, oh, they know me, but I don't know whether they know me from my porn world or from my cosplay world. And unless they say to me, you see your world. Which one? Yeah. So,
well, if anybody looks up anything about Comic-Con, it's a playground, and you want to dress up as your favorite characters and just be them for a day. So, my first character that I dressed up as when I went to Comic-Con was Black Widow, and I took my porn persona and I poured Nikki Hunter into a catsuit latex body, like a full body thing with a zipper that came up the front. And of course, I had the bandoliers and the belt. It was just it was fantastic. And like Tanya said, you walk down the street and everyone just wants to stop you and take a picture. You can't get 2 feet without them going, oh my god, it's amazing. And then what's the best part is collecting all the characters that goes with your character. Like if you're Catwoman, so you find a Batman and a Robin.
Oh, that's a fun part. You see Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, we have to take a picture.
I know. And then everybody runs together, and then they're all on the front steps taking a picture together, or whatever it is, all the X-Men, and it's like this huge camaraderie of people you just meet, and it doesn't matter if you don't know them. You're all dressed up and with the same love and the heart for these characters and the movies and the stories that go behind them, and then you can get into debates. And I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the characters, and I dressed up as Black Widow. I dressed up as Batgirl. I've done quite a few. Obviously, I've done some comic book movies as well, like Alice from Resident Evil. Ooh, that's fun. Yeah. Ooh. I like girls that kick ass, like Laura Croft. It kind of gets me going, and sometimes you want to dress up like your likeness. Like I'll look for someone that's redhead and a character that I like. What about you guys? Do you look for someone that looks like you, or do you just pick your favorite?
I try to do blondes as much as possible because I don't have the patience to wear a wig in San Diego.
Yeah,
I have a thing where I say no wigs and no masks, and it's like people are like, why didn't you do this character? Why didn't you do that one? I'm like, she's a redhead or she's a brunette. I'm kind of a brown blonde. But up close and so was a blonde. But I want to say when I go out there, I want people to recognise the Tiny Take brand. You know, as well as having the fun, but I want to, you know, keep my face on view, so to speak.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to like. You also like relate to the character more when you feel like you look like that. Like you relate to like who they are and what they look like, and it's easier to kind of go out and do it.
Well, obviously I'm brown and I'm dressed as Catwoman, so it's a little difficult for me to find. But however, I am working on a Psylocke costume, so that's one of my projects for this year's Comic-Con. Hence the purple hair, which you guys can see somewhere. Talking about masks and stuff. It's one thing I regretted about doing covers. I was like, okay, I have this thing on my head. It's hot in San Diego in July.
It's like wearing a wig.
Yeah, it's just like wearing a wig basically. So I'm like working on different, stuff like, But to answer your question originally, there's a lot of different characters that I'll play that aren't like me. Being one of them. I do want to do Vampirella as well. But the first time I ever cosplayed was a long time ago when I was like 18, 19. I did like, I love, my favorite thing about cosplay is being able to make a costume, right? Like I put together these goggles, like obviously this is just a cat that I bought, but putting it together. One of the first costumes that I made that was very intricate was like a gladiator costume. Literally made from sheet metal. You've seen that costume before, where I individually cut it and put a lot of effort into it basically. And I even made the bra from soup ladles. That's how creative I got. I was like, what can I make that's metal that'll fit on my breasts? And soup ladles work because they're not that big, so it was perfect. I mean, I had like my ex, chop it off with whatever machine that he had, and then put chainmail, and then bada bing. It was kind of like very She-Ra-ish, but no red wig. A lot of people were like, "Are you supposed to be?" What's that girl's name? I think off the top of my head. The other warrior. What's her name? Zeta. Yeah. Everyone I would walk around and they're like, I'm like, no. But yeah, that was the first time I ever dressed up. And then when I got into the adult business, I started going to Comic-Con just in plain clothes, not really cosplaying, even though I like playing dress up. And I would have fans come up to me and they're like, oh, what booth are you in? And I'm like, I'm not here in a booth, I'm just walking around as a comic book fan. And then I kind of decided like I should start dressing up. And then obviously Batman being my favorite, I started doing the whole Catwoman thing, and I have many variations of the Catwoman costume. I have the old TV version, or not the old TV version, excuse me. The I forgot the artist's name, but the purple, the black, and the yellow belt. And then I have like a sluttier version, with the bikini and not the tail, but the ears and stuff. And a bunch of other characters I've done that obviously don't look like me is Slave Leia from Star Wars. Katana, she's Asian, so that kind of works. Katana from Mortal Kombat. And then of course, like I said, I'm working on Psylocke. Those are just a couple of the different characters that I've been known to run around dressed up as at Comic-Con. I love going to Comic-Con. I love meeting people, and then just like Tanya was saying, when you have having a fan base now and seeing people, it makes it even more fun because you're combining both worlds. That's great.
The first time I dressed up was not actually for a convention. I was dressed up as Emma Frost to go see X-Men at midnight with my friends. Awesome. And I was too young and too in college to be able to afford the time or the money to go to a convention yet. But my first Comic-Con, I cosplayed as, I think I did Emma Frost one day. Luna Lovegood is one of my favorite characters of all fandoms, so I cosplayed as her. And Alice from Alice in Wonderland. For a while I tried to stick to literary characters because librarian. But one thing that I really like about what you were saying, so obviously Batgirl has red hair and I don't give a shit. But something that I really like about what you were saying is that you don't have to look like a character. I feel like if we only are allowed to cosplay as the characters that we look like, it tends to be incredibly exclusionary based on different races, different genders, different body types. There's just not as much. There's not as much diversity in the comic and fandom world as there is in real life, and I don't think that people should feel that they're not allowed to dress up as characters that they're passionate about just because they don't happen to share the same physique or, I don't know, anything.
That's one of the cool things about cosplay too, is that like you were saying, like, you put your outfit together, like the different variations of like, you'll see this, a woman at Comic-Con and they look totally different than you, and it's true to see the different variations of what people can come up with, and whether they don't look like them at all, or like the tweaks that they make, like the mashups that people do, like I've seen like steampunk.
I was just gonna say that,
stuff like that.
steampunk versions.
It's so cool to like put your own twist on it.
All slave layers look the same though.
That's actually true. They all look the same. Whether you're black and white, they all look the same.
So, April, tell us about the first time that you went to a convention.
My first convention was Gallifrey 1, which is just strictly Doctor Who convention, and I dressed up as Amy Pond, and I had a blast. It was so awesome. And so I really liked dressing up and like people taking pictures, and you kind of almost become the character a little bit. You start to do the cool poses and the that you know. And so then when I went to Comic-Con the following year, I wanted to do April O'Neil because I was like, oh cool, I can do my namesake. That'll be kind of fun. And I did, and it was super awesome. And like you said, you run into people I'd find turtles or a shredder or something like that. And it was just really cool. And so I've been doing April almost every con since. And then I made that one with my mom.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Pin up April O'Neil last
Oh,
time.
that was
another
that was the
variation.
first one, but I started to do variation of it. So I did a pin-up version of her, and I had an old 50s microphone and stuff like that. And I kind of want to do a different one now every year, different April that I can think of.
Yeah. We got to shoot together. I was Raphael and she was April O'Neil. We got to shoot for Hustler.
That's great.
That's out now, right?
Yeah, it's out. March issue.
March issue, yeah, that turned out really well.
So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles XXX.
Okay, so we're all dressed up because we're all cosplayers, and of course your line of business is slightly different.
A little different. I get to live vicariously through all of you.
So let us know a little bit about the first time that you took your brand to a convention.
Well, we're lucky that instead of having the expense of putting your stuff in Comic-Con and having a booth ourselves, because adult material is not necessarily welcome inside of Comic-Con. So what we do is a lot of the different vendors who carry us in the mainstream world, and a lot of the product in adult animation, it crosses over and it's sold in mainstream stores. It was sold in Tower Records, Music Video, FYE, Sunco, Strawberry Fields, all those different store chains also carry adult animation because there's that line where it's not actual real human beings. So we're able to kind of skirt that line and have product privately displayed, in Comic-Con and some of the other, smaller shows. So in that way, it's great. I mean, for me, being that it's something that I love and getting to, yes, we're there, we're doing business, but it's still like being a kid in a candy store. Don't think I'm not running up to the Star Wars booth and taking a picture with the lightsaber. So it's still, it's being able to do what you love. And getting to see the creativity of so many people. And always thinking about how can we take this genre that all of us love so much and bring it over into our business. How can you use what you love to brand and market yourself, your company, your media that you're making? And for me also, I do a lot of broadcast sales, and I definitely think that the parodies with the cosplay themes are doing well on broadcast all around the world. So it's been accepted.
Yeah, it's come to that stage, where it is. It's we are adult stars and you're adult borders between adult and non-adult, and it has become more acceptable. When we're going to these conventions, I purposely, when I go, I make sure that I'm seen as Tanya Tate, but it doesn't mean that I'm not still the pop star. So people that know me, there is that big crossover. So when you first started kind of going out there, did you plan it as a marketing opportunity or?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's something that it's got a huge viewer base, and everybody wants to go and play, and then so they see their favorite porn stars out there acting like kids, and it's I don't even know how many internet shows just because I'm running around and grabbing things off booths and acting like a fool, and it's fun, and they want to see you be real. I think more than anything with porn, it's full of oohs and ahs and do it to me more or harder. They want to see reality. They want to see you be you. in your authentic setting. So
It's like we're real people, guys.
yeah,
We're normal.
yeah. So I wanted to be Nikki Hunter, like real, and this is what I love, and yeah, I'll have that debate with you, Star Wars versus Star Trek. I will. I'll go DC versus Marvel with you. This is awesome. So it's just bringing me into a real plane that people can relate to.
So as far as you go, you're going to the Comic-Con. So what, do you have does anyone have any goals when they go to the conventions? You know, before you actually go there, do you kind of think ahead and think about, you know, what am I going to do? What
panels are we going to go to?
So it's
Planned out.
your brand.
Oh, as far as marketing my own brand, well, when I go, I usually just go just to nerd it out.
You just kind of go as yourself.
You know, I just go as myself, and I love wolf it, man. I'm
Yeah.
there, but you know too, because every time I've gone,
Yeah,
you're
we're
always
just
by
walking around by myself.
I'm by myself. Like, where are you? Oh, I'm at this panel. Okay, well, I'm at this panel right now. So I really just go just to geek it out.
Yeah, it is truly difficult to make a schedule with someone else because what you're into, I mean, I collect vinyl toys, so when that exclusive is coming out at that booth at that time, I don't care who my business is. I will
Preview night.
Always
go to preview night.
Yes, always go to preview night. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you know, you're there, and that's what makes, you know, being able to make this content in the adult world to the fans. They get that we all love what it is that we're doing. You're representing something because they can tell you're not faking it.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
You love Batman, like you're
Literally,
it's all
That's really important to me. I think it's one of the most important things as an adult performer crossing over into Comic-Con. Don't pander to people. Don't be disingenuous. Just be the person you are. Be the fucking nerd that you are, because they're gonna love that. You don't have to pretend that you're into fandoms you're not into. You don't have to pretend you like things you don't like. That's just like people see right through that. And what's the point? Like, you're going to Comic-Con. It's like going to Disneyland and like waiting in line at fucking Small World to pay the song, which I love Small World. But like, why? Like, why waste your time there when you could do awesome shit that you actually enjoy?
And at Comic-Con, there's so many different things, so many different genres of everything.
And no judgment.
Exactly.
It is truly being in a place of your peers, and it does not matter what fandom you're into. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, Doctor Who or Supernatural. I mean, it really truly doesn't matter if it's a Marvel or a DC.
Everyone
It's
has the same
everybody there
enthusiasm.
totally understands that you're there because you love something, and that's awesome that you love something.
And as far as marketing your brand, it's really like a celebrity who's who. When you walk out onto that floor, you'll see A-listers, you'll see your favorite porn stars, and it's like an equal like grounding spot where everybody can go. They just throw down the titles and they are who they are. And the fact that the fans are there and it's hard to get in, and it's like it's a coveted spot to be there at Comic-Con. That they running into you for your brand is just like, you know, they will follow you to the ends of the earth because they got to meet you. And so being in
And they didn't just
location,
get to meet you like just anywhere. They meet you at Comic-Con, which is
Right.
like awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, it actually does. You know, if you're looking to market it, it will support you in that. But that's not really the goal or purpose, I think, for those who really love it.
Yeah, I don't try to present. I don't go as. I mean, I go as Ella Darling, but I don't go to try to push a brand or anything. It's just being there and being a nerd, and people will start to recognize me, and that's cool. But for me, going to Comic-Con is almost a break from porn. Like, they have Playboy parties there, they have porn events there. I don't want anything to fucking do with that. That's like
It's an escape. It's escape reality for a minute, guys. You know?
Yeah. Porno friends.
Yep.
Like, Andy and I, like, we live together
Actually,
now.
we live together now, but for like the last few years, we were like, Comic-Con this year? Alright, Comic-Con this year. And we would
we
go
hang
meet
out
up.
all the time.
And in fact, last year we actually stayed together. Or not last year, the year before.
Yeah,
We stayed together.
I take Sim Sage with me, who's she's an amazing performer. She dresses up as, what did she dress up
Oh,
as?
she dressed up as,
I think she was in Battlestar here.
was she, last year, right?
Or
the year
she-
before, she was
Hunter
Hunter S. Thompson.
we did a Hustler spread the year before last also, and it was just, I called a bunch of my friends. The rule was, you have to have legitimate, like you have to actually be cosplaying. It has to be something you're actually passionate about. You don't buy a shitty costume because you want to be a cosplayer You have to actually be into
right.
it. And we had a cool pregame party and we shot, and it was only supposed to be like solos in our costumes, so of course you get a bunch of porno friends together with
that like to fuck each other, and then you're like, hey, I got Catwoman and Batgirl doing it.
I didn't host an orgy, but I hosted a Comic-Con orgy. It was an accidental orgy.
An accidental.
I played games for accidental orgy. That sounds like But when I like to hang out with like my con family, like you're my con family.
We're definitely con family.
And
you too.
Yeah. Specific people that you see, like you, like I see you over at Comic-Con.
Yeah. Or webcomics. The webcomic people are my fucking. They're the people that I love. Like Sign In Happiness. I went to college with some of those dudes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Rob from Sign In Happiness, his wife is the reason I passed chemistry in my freshman year in college. But yeah, so they're like, it's like old friends, and it's a break from
That's
LA.
like my favorite thing about Comic-Con is you get to see people that you don't normally get to see, because everybody comes out from somewhere. And then like that's the thing too about like sort of like brand stuff that you were talking about, is that like there are people that go to this because this is what they do. Like they can't come here to like to Vegas to meet everybody, but they go to Comic-Con anyway. Right. And so they get the chance to like meet you there because that's the thing that they're going to do anyway. Right. Yeah.
I got equal footing.
Yeah.
When you have major celebrities dressing up in costumes and masks, so you don't know who they are, so they could be a geek too and go and
right,
Well, I know a couple of major celebrities that have actually enjoyed the Porto, the XXX version.
Oh,
I've actually said, now they've got everything under the sun XXX. They've got Justice League, Iron Man, Superman, Spider-Man, like several versions of this. I was in Avatar.
That was Hustler, right?
Yeah, Hustler. I mean, there's like a XXX for just about everything out there now. You were in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, I was in, I've only done one parody so far, because I just started doing Boy Girl. I didn't really do girl parodies. But my first parody was The Room. Do you guys know The Room? It's like one of the worst movies ever made. When I tell people I was in the porn parody of The Room, they're like, isn't The Room a porn parody of itself? Like, yes, it is. But it was awesome. And I got to meet Tommy Wiseau, and I was like, I was in the porn parody of your movie, and he was like, that's cool. We want a basketball? He had no, fucking oblivious. Like his handler knew what was going on, and she was like, oh really? There's a porn? Okay. But like, Tommy Wiseau, I'm fucking with you.
Would you be in Harry Potter porn?
I am totally gonna make it. I want to fuck. Okay, I want to be Luna Lovegood and fuck Ginny Weasley, or I want to be Pansy Parkinson and fuck like Hermione in the Slytherin dungeon.
You're such a geek.
I don't know. Yes, I'm going to. I'm gonna do it.
So Wendy, I want to come back to you because yours is like you have the physical products that are there. You know, have you ever come across any issues where you've got your products and it is adult and it's being pushed straight into the mainstream? Have you ever had any difficulties or any challenges?
At Comic-Con or outside of Comic-Con?
Well, let's do Comic-Con first.
I actually have had no problems at Comic-Con. The vendors that we've dealt with at Comic-Con have been there for so many years. They know exactly how to, put them on the side, and when the box is properly labeled, and nothing's ever been said. I know that there's been a few different girls that have gone and signed, and they've actually asked them not to come back the next year because of the such a big oh my gosh kind of thing, because it is a family market. It's there's kids everywhere. So in that way, in the business side of it, it's actually kind of funny. Every couple of years, a customer will complain in a mainstream store, and it's kind of a funny story. A buyer told me one time they had this huge board meeting, and it's all the people on board, and they call them in, and they're like, what happened and whatever, and they're like, thinking about taking this product out of our stores, and they're like, well, how much does that animated product make us? And they say the amount, and they're like, okay, moving on. It's a market, it's a demographic, it's been able to be, in the Bible Belt where other things weren't always allowed, and it's a strong market.
That's good that it's getting accepted, because that kind of gives us a step further back into moving it over into the geek world and being more accepted. Has anybody else had any problems when it comes to or seen anybody else have any difficulties when it comes to being adult and marketing themselves?
So Adult Swim a couple years ago was going to hire me to blog, shoot girls in cosplay and blog about the experience. And so the first night I go to the adult swim party, and I actually have coloring books that I'm selling here at my table. But I had made these cool coloring books that like I had my friends draw pictures of me, and some of it's naked. And I have them just to give away to people because why the fuck not? And I would barter with people there. But so I went to this party, and I met the vice president of Adult Swim. And I was like, hey, do you want a coloring book? And he was like, hell yeah, this is awesome. So we hung out and we did shots and we colored this thing. And the next day I got an email from this like dude who had hired me to do it. And he was like, oh my god, I'm sorry, my supervisor got really upset because the vice president of our company was like coloring your vagina. Actually, it was my labia, and that to me is important. But okay, so they took me off the project, but then like the VP of Adult Swim is one of my best friends now. So it's like they had a problem with it, but he didn't. And he was like, why the fuck did they do that? That's stupid. Do you want me to talk to the guy? And I was like, no, we're friends, it's cool. But so yeah, like they gave a shit, but the person who actually runs the company thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And so
like
that was
corporate
dumb.
red tape to like run through or whatever.
Yeah.
Is it fair?
But in the end, I kind of went anyway because I made cool friends and I got to do cool things. And
I was at that party with you too. I remember
yeah, we go so far back.
So has anyone got any advice about if you was to, say if you were to go back and you were thinking, okay, this is me, and I want to move into the geek community, the geek market, is there any good advice that you can give to somebody, some
adult
ground?
performers? To adult performers, right?
Adult performers or businesses?
Well, I was going to say, if you're going to plan to dress up in costume, make sure you give yourself enough time to make a costume.
Comic-Con in general, you have to plan like a year
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
You have to plan a year
Yeah.
ahead. Hotels, costumes, everything.
It's just with anything. Get as much information as you possibly can, with as many details as you possibly can before you go into any kind of performance.
I would just say, like, be genuine. Like, don't make something you don't like.
Exactly.
Back to
Exactly.
that.
I agree with
At
that.
least, I mean, if you're new to it or something, find something that you do like, or ask people to like give you suggestions of stuff that you might be into. But don't just like pick something
just
random.
because.
Yeah.
Because I've heard people do that
You're
before.
gonna need a notion about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're you test
And then
what
if
someone
someone makes a statement to you, like, you know, when you're on the floor, and you're like, what? And you're like, wait, so you're not into solo?
Yeah,
it's
really.
That's the primary point to me. Just be real, be you. Don't have that as
Don't like stuff, like, you know.
You're surely passionate about something. There's
yeah.
something. And Comic-Con isn't just about comic books anymore. It's video games.
It's everything.
Animation,
Yeah.
mainstream movies. And
It's
just
Mythbusters. It's,
Yeah.
you know, every kind of
There's
following.
something.
There is a panel for that following. It's
Yeah.
very educational.
So I would say promote it to your fans. Promote it as much as you can. But promote it in a way that's real, not in a like, oh my god, come meet me, I'll sign autographs. Because that's not really what it's about. It's about being a nerd. And so just go be the nerd that you are and connect with your fellow
Or
nerds.
unleash the nerd that is within.
Everyone's got it. And the fans that I've made there are fucking lifelong dedicated fans because they get it. They know that we're kindred souls.
It's like a community.
Yeah, it's
definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely. I would say for advice to someone that's getting in, leave your porn persona at the door. Don't expect that people, if you're well known within the porn industry, don't expect that people are going to know who you are in the geek world.
Yeah.
That's not true. It's not necessarily a crossover. That you get to start from scratch, essentially, in a whole new way in relation to a new viewer audience. So that you know, I can go and be super sexy and wear almost nothing and lingerie isn't necessarily going to give you the geek cred that you were looking for. It's going to make you the slut, and you don't want to be that in that realm because that's
not what it's about.
Not what it's about. Exactly.
Sluts are awesome though.
True. We're not saying side note.
I mean, we do see girls in bikinis. You know, I go when I have my costumes made. I purposely make like this one's pretty covered. You know, but I have some like kind of one-piece bodysuits, and I always make sure that they're kind of covered fully on the bottom. You know, if I'm going to show cleavage, that's fine, but it's not, you know, so much on the nip, just a tiny bit of nipple covering. And the reason why I do that is because I'm aware that it is a family-orientated environment. I'm aware that there's children that are like walking at this level, you know, and because of who I am, I feel that I do have to cover up a little bit more because I've seen girls in like, just say I've seen girls in top bikinis. I have.
yeah,
we've all seen
yeah.
girls in
Yeah.
bikinis. That's their cosplay, which is fine. I have nothing against it. But I know if I went in a thong bikini to a comic convention, somebody will complain because of who I am, because of
Right,
the way
right,
I do.
yeah, sure.
And I would be fearful that I would be asked to leave when actually I'm just the same as everybody else, just because I do cloth.
I say we make this show all cosplay. Every attendee, everyone has to come.
And you can't come in unless you're dressed up.
You can't sit with us. Actually, like we were just commenting, me and Nikki, there are other people in cosplay today at this. You're not.
I've seen it.
And so you can, you know, as well as like the adult going into the mainstream, crossing over that way, it's crossing back over this way as well. And I think it's really, really nice to see like a lot of different people. And
It's truly more accepted than it has ever been ever. I mean, I've been attending Comic-Con and these kind of shows for many years, and it is definitely more accepted. It used to be, you know, that a nerd or a geek was a bad word. It is absolutely not anymore. It's fully embraced. You have, you know, the HBOs and the Showtimes and all of these different major, you know, brands, corporations, and everybody has a booth at that show. Everybody is displaying, you know, if it's Lord of the Rings or if it's Avatar or whatever that it is, if it has anything to do with the fantasy world, it is at home.
And then we've got following on all the fantasy worlds that got made into Triple X. I know we've talked about some of them. You know, I was in Game of Thrones and I played Cersei Lannister.
That's so
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
There is only one part I'm interested in playing. If you're going to give me someone else, I don't want it. So we regions. Yeah, and you know, going to the Comic-Con and seeing all these different Cersei Lannisters and different people from Game of Thrones, it's just like them opening up and being at Comic-Con, and then it gives us a step to make these movies. And it's not just about making, you know, big movies as well. You know, you do clips for sale. You do some costume based?
I haven't yet. I need to.
We should. I know, me too. We both have one, and we have camera equipment at home. Why don't we just do that?
Because Jaeger.
That's true. You can have my apartment. Guilty.
And that brings us to an interesting topic of copyright.
Oh, right. No, that's true. You have to like alter
when
symbols, logos,
symbols and
names
logos.
as well.
Anytime that you see the Triple X versions, the costumes are different, or they're on version, or they don't quite hold them that name, whatever that is, they have to change it because copyright is also a big thing. And so when talking about brand and marketing, that's something for us as porn stars to think about, is like, they will come after you, and they have.
Yeah.
They have. So when doing clips for sale, just a simple superhero outfits, throw on a cape, it's awesome. It's all good.
I mean, I have a big fan base, you know, and they kept asking me, are you going to do a porno, you know, an adult movie in cosplay? And because I was so self-conscious of not being accepted as, you know, in the geek world, I was like, no, it's fine. And then one day I was just like, oh, okay, I'm going to do it. So that's when I put together, I was sitting there, you know, branding and marketing, there we go. Cosplay Queens and Titled Teens, which is my movie, and this is April, you wasn't in it. Oh no, let me see it. It was cool. I guess
it's really cool.
It's Cosplay Queens and Titled Teens, and
that's right.
Yeah, a lot of my
all three of us,
yeah,
all four.
And it was my take on having, you know, adult performers and what would happen before a comic convention, you know, what happens after a comic convention. And it was kind of like a little cute take. And I wanted to get these girls that were genuinely into cosplay, and hence I chose some of these.
Have you marketed that any differently than you have any other adult title because it's you have?
Yeah.
How have you?
With this, you know, I do direct movies to Philly Films and the lesbian girl movies, and all the other movies have been like kind of like the mummy daughter, kind of that's my specialty. And this was the only one that I did that was like cosplay. So in terms of the different things that I did with the marketing, you know, everyone starts off with the costumes on. So we took all our pictures with the costumes on, and we put them out there, and they were marketed as well. Because I kind of have I've spent a lot of time, you know, networking at the events, knowing a lot of people that are on the different websites. Rich Johnson Bleeding Cool, for example, that's a really big geek media website, and through, you know, networking, I've got really good friends with them. So it was like, hey Rich, here's a set of pictures from Cosplay Queens and Titled Teens, you know, and then the pictures start getting circulated. So these, none of them are pornographic. They're all fully clothed with the girls in the sexy costumes. And so in terms of these pictures were put around, and it was talked about more on the different geek websites. And when I do the interviews with the geek media websites, you know, I'm confident that I can talk about it, and it does get mentioned in the different interviews. So it is a movie that I talk about. And of course the Game of Thrones that I was in as well, because they are interested, even though it's a mainstream website and they're interviewing me, they're asking me about it, they are interested in, you know, what was it like to be Cersei Lannister? What was it like to be a hot woman and dressed up as Catwoman, having Supergirl tied down to the bed, and, you know, using the Hitachi to find her secret power. We all know where that's hidden, don't we? so yeah, it was marketed slightly different, and it was good because I did get a lot of good feedback from the geek media press, and it was a lot more accepted.
So the reason I asked that, I hate to do this, but because the reason I put this seminar together was because it was so obvious to me that there were so many people in this industry that were engaging Comic-Con and cosplay so passionately that we couldn't ignore it. Then obviously what Axel was doing, and then all of the superhero parodies, and then also there was a lot of stuff going on at Comic-Con itself. But, you know, and so the question was, where can this go? Where is this going to go?
I sold both Game of Bones and Dr. War on broadcast worldwide, and both have done phenomenal.
But what's phenomenal about what you just talked about there is that there are ways to directly engage the Comic-Con community without necessarily having a booth there. Doing it indirectly through these websites, through the people you network with, through the people you know. That is the Comic-Con community. You're just doing it smart, you know, really intelligently, and social networking in that way. And yet it's kind of the same result. You're definitely making really important connections there. I just am fascinated by where this is going to go and where it's going to lead. I think most of the crossover actually may come the other direction, you know. But, you know, because the VP from Adult Swim, that's a great story, except they're all always going to protect their brands. Corporate America always protects their brands, and even if they love porn, they always feel they need to do it. They're always going to do it. And maybe one day, that environment, you know, where everyone comes together will help to break down those barriers, you know.
Well, Screech from Saved by the Bell did a porn.
That's
a crossover this time.
But now he's dissing it. You know,
I think it's hard, you know, to get the products sometimes from adults into the mainstream. You know, they like it all to be nicey nice. You know, we don't want sex. You know, we are family orientated environment. But at the same time, they're all watching it, you know. Yeah. And how do you get that out there? How do you get over that hurdle? You know, to just be like, it's acceptable. If it's porn, okay, and children shouldn't watch it. Totally agreed. But there are places that it can be porn with having, you know, the child filter stuck on it.
I think it's already there. We are already there. It's acceptable. We're in it. I mean, just the fact that we've made all the geek XXXs out there, multiplied. It just proves that we have breached the walls. We're in it, and it's awesome. It's a new age. where we can enjoy the realism and the costume play and to see where it does go, like you said. It's exciting.
If you're talking about monetizing content, I mean, if you think about it this way, back in the day, the choice was TV, right? But now we all have the internet. You can make a clip and put it up for yourself. You guys have, you know, more Twitter fans yourselves than sometimes you would have got a view, you know, if you put something up on broadcast. So there's so many more different ways to bring your content to the audience, and it's as that's happening, as more ways of delivering stuff on your mobile, on your phone, on your tablet, on your TV are happening, you are having more control come back to you, because now you can say, okay, well that big corporation might not want to put this movie up on TV, but I am able to deliver it to my fans in this way, and this way. And so in that way, I think that the power is shifting back to you to be able to supply your fans with exactly what it is that they want to see.
Okay. Well, I know we're getting really close to the end, so I wanted to open it up to see if anybody had any questions that they wanted to ask.
I have a question. I don't produce films, but I'm an erotic artist and photographer, and I'm thinking about producing maybe something for that particular niche, the Comic-Con niche, maybe cosplay, coffee table books, or wall art or something like that. Is that far into that, like at the Comic-Con? I'm into all the geeky stuff, but I've never been at the Comic-Con.
There's booths at a lot of the different shows where artists will display their stuff, but there's a very long list of people before you to get a booth. I think the last time it's 3 years to get a booth at Comic-Con, right? And it's very expensive. But there is places like DesignerCon, which is
Parody and Big Expo.
$300 for a booth or something along those
The
lines.
answer is yes.
Yes.
There's a whole section for the artists. I mean, if
Artist Alley.
It's Artist Alley, and we love the art, the photographs. It's the real people that they turn, you know, that do the colorizing on. It's beautiful. Anything you want to create, it's available to you.
Question?
Yeah.
If I were to be within the adult industry, consider creating your own unique characters that are unique to you or the industry, or maybe not following those
Like our own fictional characters?
Yeah.
You want
I am. I've got Lady Titan, so it's
creating features based on those characters.
well, it's actually a character that I've developed. A lot of my fans were asking me, you know, hey, we want a Tiny Tina character, and it kind of goes from there. I am already costume made. I'm actually having some vinyl things made. So these are like vinyl platforms of female. Does anybody see them?
Yeah, they're so adorable.
And I actually
I love those, by the way.
So they're like 6 inches. I'm actually I'll be at the Hot Movies booth later, and I'll have one on display if anyone wants to come and look. But I'm going to be bringing out, well, it's actually on its way actually from China right now, a fully painted version of Lady Titan, which is my character. I'm moving forward, it's going to be a comic book, and I'm going to be looking at web series as well. So yeah.
I've shot a lot of fetish scenes where as one different character that was made up called the Scorpion Woman. Because I'm a Scorpio and I always play the bad guy, and I have like this like stinger that, you know, when you watch the videos they do like all this cool shit where I like kind of people out that way. So that's like a fun thing, not really my character, but another character that's not, you know, it's a fictional one obviously. But speaking of little final characters and stuff, I actually have I'm into horror as well. And so I designed this little figurine that's like a Batman mashup with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it's basically Batman with a chainsaw, and his mask is like made out of skin and stuff. So that's like something that I have that I've been, there's only been like 10 made so far, and I'm kind of, you know, different colors. They're really adorable. It's like all over our apartment right now.
Our apartment is full of, I think most of our decorations are from Comic-Con. Like,
A lot of it is
all of
like
my art which is in the shopping cart, not on the walls yet.
Yeah,
so.
we have to get Captain America to put that up.
But yeah, like all of my art is from Comic-Con. All of my decor is either skulls or nerd stuff.
When we moved in together, she was like, Bruce, do you mind if we kind of geek out our apartment? And I'm like, duh. So when you walk into our apartment, there's like this big shelf of just all of our stuff.
Figures,
our figurines, a bunch of our like figurines and stuff like that. Yeah, it's great.
I'm going to move on to you guys a question that you want to ask.
Yeah, you guys were talking about earlier, you guys when you're cosplaying, you're walking around and if you have a passion for it, you're kind of like promoting a mainstream product or a toy line. And then you had said that when you kind of were promoting your own product and Adult Swim kind of had banned it or kind of had taken you off. So my question was, have you guys had any trouble being like in your porn star persona, trying to promote nerd mainstream like Nintendo or Xbox or PlayStation, and then saying like, hey, even though you like this personally because of your name, we actually don't want you to represent it for copyright issues or just for a family-friendly viewpoint of it?
I've never heard of that.
Television. I've encountered television where, because I was looking to get a job with G4 back when they existed, and I love G4. I did their Viewer Nation Army, I did all kinds of stuff, and they allowed me to do a lot of interviews. They were looking for a host. Olivia and mine left, and before Candace, and I wanted to go in, and I auditioned, and I talked with them, and they could not go with me because of my porn persona. So yes, television is big. That they are worried about it. So,
but I've never heard of anybody go up to a person and say, because you are this type of performer, this type of person, we don't want you to wear our costume.
And I have a small follow-up to that, which is, do you guys get companies to ask you to promote their mainstream products as your porn star persona?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
There's like different companies that it will work for, like dating companies, or something that kind of borderlines. We all get paid to tweet about different things. It's a fact, we're celebrities, people will get us to tweet. So sometimes they don't mind their brand being put out on an adult platform because they know there's a massive market there that's just sitting there, just waiting to touch onto different things. Question?
What kind of introduced me to the whole, I haven't been to one yet, but I grew up as a pro wrestling fan. And I noticed they have their own conventions, but they've crossed over into Comic-Con too. So it draws me to want to go to one. My question really is, I live in Austin, Texas, and we have Capital City Comic-Con, and we also have Wizard World.
Yeah, I've been to Wizard World in Philly, actually.
What's the difference between the two brands? I mean, everything is Comic-Con in my day, because I've been paying.
Actually,
they're all different. They're all owned by different people. They're all run by different people. It's all different brands. Just like we're all porn stars, but we're all very unique, different people. It's
Wizard, Wizard World is very much TV and autographs and stuff.
It's a little bit smaller.
Yeah. But Mankind, Mick Foley is a personal friend of mine, and he goes and he has his own comic book, and so he goes to Comic-Con often, and there's a whole bunch of, there's a huge wrestling base.
Yeah, San Antonio, I think, is like Alamo Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I just from city to city, I'm surprised that we've got two of them.
There's a lot of different ones that are branching out because they wanted not everybody can come to San Diego, for example, So there's like, you have New York Comic-Con, and you have Wizard Con, which is like a different branch from San Diego Comic-Con, but they had it in different cities. You said there was a Wizard Con in Texas, correct?
Yeah.
So there's one in Philly, that's the one that I went to. And then I think San Diego Comic-Con is just like, it's the biggest one.
Yeah.
And in fact, I don't know if there's any truth in this, but I heard that there was like another Comic-Con that opened somewhere, and San Diego was like, you can't use the word Comic-Con in your name because we're the ones that own that name. Yeah, like San Diego Comic-Con is ours.
I believe that.
Yeah.
It was in Utah, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Salt Lake City had a big thing with it. So you mentioned
I believe that.
Utah.
Okay, well I think we've had our time. So I'll just let everyone wrap up and let you know where you can find us. So I'm Tanya Tate. You can find my cosplay blog on Tanya. You can follow me on Twitter at Tanya Tate. I'm going to be at the convention. If anyone wants to come and see me, I'll have my superhero figure, and I'll also have a copy of the Cosplay Queens entitled Teens on the Hot Movies booth. So they're finally, I think people just confiscated that one. I'm going to be having fun tonight.
I'll be in my hotel room, thank you.
So I'll be on the Hot Movies booth tonight, 5 till 8, and tomorrow 12 till 4 if anyone wants to stop by.
At Nikki Hunter on Twitter. I'm easy.
You can find me on on Twitter at AnnieFuckin, F-U-C-K-I-N Cruz, AnnieCruz.com. I have a booth here, actually. I'm a dating coach on the side. And there's a company that I represent out here called Project Vegas Mansion. That's where I'm at. You can find a big banner there. And I'm also giving away free stuff for anybody that donates to my comic book project. So come see me.
I am at Ella Darling. That's Ella with one L, so E-L-A Darling on Twitter and all of the other shit. I'm darlingella.com. You're obviously nerdy, so if you know what the Oculus Rift is, I'm making virtual reality porn for the Oculus Rift. It's VR2.xxx. Pretty awesome and hot. And yeah, I'm signing at the 101 modeling booth. It's 1402 in the Joint, and I will have adult coloring books if you want to color on my labia.
You can go to heyitsapril.com. That's got links to my Instagram, my Twitter, my blog, all that stuff. My Twitter is UNDUX, which is complicated. And I'll be at the Pornhub booth right after this until about 6.
Thank you. It's just adultsourcemedia.com.
So thank you everyone.